came back to see if I could find Lil. I hadn't been down Fulham way for 5 years or more. I left the old manor in January 1953. National service in Korea. After the mob, I was restless. I joined the Merchant Navy for a while and I sailed to Aussie and the States and I chased the local talent the way that sailors do and I got drunk trying to forget. Lost friends, lost loves. But I couldn't forget. Especially Lil. I used to think of her loads of the time. I don't know why. I didn't think I was in love with her or anything. But I did want to see her again. She'd been a dear true friend to me, had Lil. And a bit more. I would often recall the glorious afternoons we spent together those many years ago. I was just 17 when she first led me to bed. She was 32-ish.
Come along, sweetheart.
Big-hipped, full-breasted, creamy skin, beautiful looking. She was a Rubens masterpiece of a woman.
You're not frightened, are you, Dinky?
No.
I'll be ever so kind to you.
She took me by the quivering hand and sunk back into her perfumed sheets, naked as heaven on a clear day.
Oh, Tommy, I love you.
It was an adolescent's lonely pillow dream realised.
Love you.
It was an apprenticeship that grew from timorous adventures through frenzied passion to long, lovely moments of just being together. I want to marry you, Lil. What are you laughing at me for?
Don't you understand that most of the old girls round here would string me up as a witch if they knew?
What?
That I'd seduced you.
Eh?
Been having my wicked way with you nearly every afternoon for a month. Plucked your cherry.
I'd have done the same to you, but I didn't know how. I do now.
They're right, really. I'm twice your age.
So?
And they reckon I'm on the game.
Well, they're wrong, aren't they?
Bigots don't recognise the truth, Dinky.
It's nothing to do with the nosy old sods round here. I'm 18 next year. They're going to stuff a gun in me hand and send me to fight the commies in Korea, where I might get me privates blown off. But I'd rather keep them for you.
Oh, you're just an old romantic.
Oh, Lil.
No.
Come on.
Tommy, we got to stop this. We have.
You got a new bloke?
Daft.
Don't satisfy you, do I?
Oh, shut up. You're a lovely kid, Tommy.
I'm not a bloody kid.
Dinky, if we don't stop now, one of us, perhaps eventually both of us, will be desperately hurt.
I was confused. I didn't know how to handle her transition from the ambrosial sex goddess to the moral and maternal status of an ordinary woman. Anyway, she was adamant. It was over. So I stopped going round to see her. I started knocking about with the young girls again. But how do you go back to spring water when you tasted vintage wine? We used to talk of mundane things if we met in the street, and once I saw her smiling down at me from a bus. I didn't know what thoughts or feelings she kept hidden behind that smile, but smiling back, my thoughts were of her fabulous breasts and warm, compliant body. She sent me letters when I went to Korea, regularly. They kept me going through that nightmare. Then all of a sudden, she left Fulham. Nobody seemed to know where she'd gone or why, and the letters stopped coming, and I was choked. Mind you, everything changes, doesn't it? Ever and constantly, like the colours of the sky. There was a time years ago when this market used to stretch all the way from Walham Green to West Kent. A vibrant river of people and loaded barrows. There was a smell of Kent apples and the perfume of pinks, sweet peas, freesias and roses, and steaming horse dung. And the faces of the costermongers were all brick red and bright-eyed and carved from the hard market days of life and weather. And their women were larrily headscarfed, London-lined, coarse with laughter and gypsy dark. While the stalls have diminished, some of those faces will never feel the touch of wind or sun again. You know, everything changes. It's nearly 50 years since the Korean War ended. I was out there during the last year, 19 years old, seeing me mates getting killed, but seeing young girls, just like our little Fulham darlings really, teenagers, in the first uncertain joys of womanhood. Only Korean teenagers, faces plastered with Max Factor napalm, blackened and twisted like crumpled burnt toast, staring with young bewildered eyes, and little kids living in ditches with spam boxes for roofs, and the charging scream of Chinese bugles scraping at your boy's brain like blunt knives as you hug the earth, the crump of shells, the roaming, singing bullets looking for a death kiss. And all the time you're wondering if you'd live to be 20. Some didn't. I lost 3 of my best mates out there, including my best mate of all, Ernie Higgs, Ego, the eternal loser. I'd known him since infant school. Poor old Ego. I was always having a go at him. You know what, Ego, my son? I've got to say, I think you're deeply, deeply in love with Sissy Greencake, the queen of the Milkies. Gonna get married in white, are we, with a bouquet of pansies? Then Ego would regularly do his pieces. I'm no puff, he'd say. Not much, I'd say, knowing that he wasn't. And then we'd have a fight. Fighting. Of course, we were really the best of pals. Get here!
£30 for £2, Juicy Jeffers, Tuppence, Juicy Jeffers, 30 for £2, 30 for £2, Juicy Jeffers, Tuppence, Juicy Jeffers, 30 for £2.
Aussie cream cake as we green boys used to call him, Express Dairy's milkman, bent as a 9-bob note. So what, give his heart and soul to a friend he would? He did, to Ego. To be fair, cream cake was a diamond. Mind, he took some stick in those far-off fearful days. Right good hidings he took, just for being who he was. He didn't give a monkeys. He used to wear fishnet tights under his milkman's apron and pink wash his barnet at weekends. He loved poetry, though. He was always going on about poets like A.E. Houseman, Wilfred Owen, Siegfried Sassoon. I used to think they were 3rd Division North footballers. When he started quoting stanzas, I used to blow raspberries at him. Didn't appreciate a word of it. But then Lil started putting a few lines of verse at the bottom of her letters. Newly discovered gems from Cream Cake's poetry mine, she used to call them. I began to look forward to him in some strange way and enjoy.
My dearest Tommy, I went round Cream Cake's mum's for tea last Sunday. Mrs. Cream's a dear, poor, funny little old thing.
She sure was. Flo Cream, 4 foot and a bit and about 5 stone. She was like an ancient fading fairy. Even though the Second World War had been over for more than a 10-year stretch, she thought it was still on. She used to wear a WVS green beret and an ARP boiler suit and go fire watching every Wednesday and Saturday night down Fulham Town Hall to make sure her Cream Cake's birth certificate didn't catch fire.
You know what, Tommy? Mrs. Cream thought I was Cream Cake's bird.
Are you betrothed to my Aussie, Lily?
Well, am I, Aussie?
Of course you are, Presh, says Cream Cake. And little Flo Cream clasps her hands and looks heavenwards.
Oh, goody tuddy winks. It's about time he got married, Lily dear. He's 32.
31, Mummy, says Cream Cake tightly.
Of course, Tommy, Mrs. C doesn't even begin to realise that her Rosie's a ginger beer. She doesn't know such things. Anyway, Cream Cake and me chuckle and canoodle, drink this latest wine called Blue Nun, and pretend to get engaged with a rubber band from one of Mrs. Cream's brown ale bottles. Oh, we all get drunker and start singing.
Here comes the bride, 50 inches wide. See how she wobbles her big backside.
Well then, Flo keels over and we carry her to bed snoring. After that, me and Cream Cake sit together and talk about you and Ego and the others and how terrible it is you've been involved in war so young. We start to read poems to each other for comfort. Cream Cake read me another new one. A.E. Housman. Wonderful. I've written it down for you. Hope you enjoy it. Loveliest of trees, the cherry now, is hung with blooms along the bough. Now, of my 80 years and 10, 20 will not come again, and take from 70 springs a score. It only leaves me 50 more. And since to look at things in bloom, 50 springs are little room. About the woodlands I will go, to see the cherries hung with snow.
Tuppence each, 30 for 2 bob. Come on, ladies, Juicy Jeffers. Here you are, tuppence each, 30 for 2 bob. Come on, ladies, Juicy Jeffers.
In his yellow and black striped jumper and dark twill trousers, Hector Duckett looked like a giant bumblebee with a bright red face. He certainly had a deadly sting.
I thought you was dead.
Disappointed?
Frankly, yes.
Ha! Only the good die young.
Well, he wasn't no bloody good and he's dead.
Who?
Ernie Higgs.
Ego?
Him, the worthless git.
Ego was 22 carat.
Tampered with my little daughter, though, didn't he? Put her up the stick.
Ego didn't put Doreen Duckett up the stick at all. The real father of Doreen's baby, which Ego claimed to be his own, was actually Sid Beasley, a dark, sleek, roving, thieving local impregnator, late of Fulham Parish.
Then that...
You mean, Ego?
He goes gallivanting off abroad, bleeding snuffsick within a year of matrimony, and leaves my little Doreen a widow. Typical.
It wasn't on a safari holiday, Governor, and he certainly didn't die on purpose.
No good teddy boys. I should never have let him marry her.
Shouldn't have let him? You bloody forced him.
You bet you marry my poor little daughter, you dirty little sod. You'll marry her the day after her 16th birthday.
Duckett was very definitely schizophrenic.
My only little grandson is an orphan now, and it's all down to that deflowering of my daughter, and the worry of that cataclysmic marriage prompted, I am convinced, my prostate trouble. Consequently, I am now a man alone.
Mrs. Duckett pass on then?
No. She was enticed away by a meter collector from the North Thames Gas Board, who wasn't in need of frequent nocturnal jaunts to the Gazunder.
Did he leave a receipt?
He didn't even empty the bleeding meter. What are you doing back in Fulham anyway?
Oh, this and that.
Nothing, in other words.
No, I'm planning a window cleaning empire.
A graft? You wouldn't last a day.
I used to make a good job of Lily Higgs' windows.
The Ego's auntie. The brass with a knocking shop.
Lil want no brass. She was a photographic model.
For Soho sex guys.
You?
Hey, don't you start getting violent, son. I'm still a special constable.
I left the market and I meandered around Walham Green looking for familiar faces. There were none. So many had gone, all my old mates sacrificed to war, young men passing away before their time. Still, death has no favourites. We all get invited to dinner sooner or later.
Tommy! Ooh, hey, Tommy!
I looked across the swimming bars. A Hollywood blonde hunched over a pushchair was waving at me. It was Doreen Duckett. I was brown as a nutmeg from foreign sun. My hair all quiffed and greased had been cut to perfection by a Chinese barber in Kowloon for $2 Hong Kong. I was wearing a black t-shirt, leather jacket and sky blue jeans and an enigmatic leer. I reckon there wasn't a bird within a 10-mile radius of Walham Green who'd be able to say no. Well, one didn't anyway.
Oh, how lovely to see you, Tommy. I thought it was Tommy Curtis.
James Dean, they reckon.
Oh, well, whatever. You look really handsome.
Appreciate it, ma'am?
Oh, that's all right.
This Eggo's boy, is it?
Well, yeah, he's nearly 5. Marlon Sydney.
I tell you, if little Marlon Sydney had had sideburns and a fedora hat, he would have been a growth-restricted Sid Beasley reincarnated.
Looks just like poor dear Eggo, doesn't he?
Yes. She might have been a right old scrubber, but Doreen Duckett was certainly a very good-looking Richard III. She had a pair of bristles that made Jane Mansfield look flat-chested, and her black nylon legs were sheer perfection. I felt a tremor running through me as I feasted on her rich perfume, trying to avoid the look of invitation lurking in those sexy green eyes.
Of course, you do realise I'm a widow now, Tommy. Mind, I've remained true to Eggo's memory. Oh, yeah. Over 5 years without a man, without love.
Really, doll?
And do you know my sweet little Marlon Sydney's never even seen his dad?
Of course he hadn't. Marlon Sydney's pater, Sid Beasley, got blown up on a Jellignite job long before the baby was born.
You know, Tommy, I never stopped crying for 2 months after my Eggo got killed at Junction. You ask my dad.
What do you keep bleeding crying for, Doreen?
I feel so tragic, Daddy.
What for?
I've just heard my Eggo's been killed in battle.
Well, saves me a job. When?
10 days ago, apparently.
Well, you're better off without him, Doreen. He was no good.
He was my husband.
Well, only through necessity.
Dad,
What?
do you think it'd be wrong of me to still go up to Palladium with Josie Duggan tonight?
Wrong?
Well, Eggo's memory and all that. The platters. Got a 5-bob seat.
Well, you don't want to go and waste the bleeding ticket now, do you?
She moved round the pushchair, getting disturbingly close to me.
Tommy,
Yes, doll?
did you actually see Eggo dead?
I did, as it happens.
Oh, Tommy.
I could feel her soft white fingers enfolding my hand.
Oh, you poor thing.
Yeah, I've been talking to him about the Marciano Jersey Joe Walcott fight. You know, in this foxhole, the way you do. He started chewing a digestive biscuit, and suddenly there was a whine and a thud, and there was Eggo sitting bolt upright, a little black hole through his helmet, the biscuit clenched hard between his teeth.
A biscuit. Oh, terrible.
He was dead.
Was there any blood?
Well, not till I touched him and he fell over.
Oh, Tommy. Hold on to me. I think I'm going to faint.
I hesitated, but she was imploring me with those emerald green eyes, and the close smell of her was all woman. I know how Samson must have felt when he first got accosted by Delilah. I put my arms round her, and there, in the middle of Walham Green, she clung to me and sobbed into my chest. Marlon Sydney howled. Traffic hooted. I knew I was cuddling dynamite, but I was only a man, weaker than most. So we went round to her mate Josie's for the afternoon and we borrowed a bedroom. I couldn't leave her alone after that. I'd fallen in love with her. Well, I'd fallen in love with the bumpy bits at least.
I'm having a baby, Daddy.
You've already got a bleeding baby, Doreen.
Another one.
Well, how could you have another one? Your husband's 6 feet under in Yugoslavia.
Korea?
Well, wherever. He's in no position to make babies.
I am attractive to other men.
You haven't been indulging in adultery, have you?
I have my needs, Daddy.
What needs?
Female requirements.
You caught that sort of thing off your mother.
Perhaps she has needs too.
Well, I gave her more than enough housekeeping.
No woman can live on housekeeping alone, Father.
Another baby? I'm not sending enough jaffers to keep the one you got. And what am I going to tell Councillor Mrs. Letts?
She's not having a baby too, is she?
Don't be so disgusting! She's got 17-year-old twins and she's a widow, well up in morals. I've been getting on well with her and all. We sat up half Thursday night discussing the rights and wrongs of VD clinics in a democratic society. In fact, we're becoming so friendly, she's invited me to the Empire Day whist drive down at the Scouts Hut in Fulham Cross.
I didn't think Empire Day was celebrated anymore.
Well, some of us still care about the natives. Oh dear, oh dear. Let's pray it was a wayward sperm, a leftover from him, that ego bloke, trapped in the fallopians.
It's Tommy Smith's.
What?! Have you Waltham Green Teddy boys got a bleeding vendetta against me, eh?
No, Mr. Duckett.
Then why have you ravaged my Doreen again, eh? You catamite!
I didn't ravage you, did I, Dor?
I didn't know quite what was happening.
Duckett had fists like cauliflowers and a reputation for using them as head bashers when he got the hump.
If you yobbos these days thought less of testicles and more of your principles, we'd still have a British Empire to rule over.
I was close to the door, keeping my distance from him. Florets of foam bubbled at the corners of his mouth, and his fat lips formed the word marriage. I've been this way before. When Ego got married to Doreen, I was best man that time. Anyway, whatever the reason, love, lust, fear, or that old-fashioned concept honour, I married her. And do you know what? I was convinced I saw old Ego sitting behind the registrar laughing his bloody head off. I'll get him one day if he was. Anyway, with Doreen safely signed up again, old man Duckett simmered down a bit. He rented us a back bedroom and a gas ring at his Lily Road terrace for £2.10 a week. So I got a job with the Amalgamated Window Cleaning Company. I also discovered a lucrative little sideline, picking up legally no, bits of Victoriana, oil lamps, Staffordshire figures, stuff like that, and selling them for good prices down the newly sprung clusters of antique shops which lurked like highwaymen along the New King's Road. Doreen got chubbier by the day as we settled down to the rigours of married life.
Oh, Tommy, darling. Oh, that was the bestest yet.
Yeah,
Oh, do it again.
I've already done it 3 times.
Just once more. Just once more. Go on, sexy.
I'm cream crackered, Dor.
Imagination will help.
Sleep had helped better.
Oh, pretend I'm a princess.
Huh?
And you're a big rough pirate.
Pirate?
Dick, the one-eyed avenger.
Dor?
It will really spice our sex life up.
It needs spicing up.
I read it in Woman's Weekly or somewhere.
Sleep had become a stranger.
That's life. It is funny as it may
Dick, tell me, I'm nearly fainting away. Oh, spare me, please. I'm just a pale, helpless princess. Oh, do a cruel now.
Huh?
Go on, Tommy, really cruel.
Huh?
Oh.
Ah! Ah!
Ah, oh.
Stop that bleeding racket in there, Doreen! Do you hear me? It's 2 o'clock in the morning!
Duckett was a definite head case. But he was courting this grand Tory lady, Councillor Mrs. Letts, and it progressed in earnest. Well, I noticed a really great change in him. He started polishing his shoes till they gleamed like summer plums. And then he was parting his hair down the middle, plastered flat with Vaseline and spit. He even took to wearing a corset, which he got from the Great Universal Store's mail order catalogue. Councillor Mrs. Letts was always freshly painted, with rosebud lips, dolly daydream cheeks, and high-arched pencilled eyebrows. She wore huge picture hats which streamed with ribbons and rustling summer frocks. As she charted a passage among the tiny minions of the humdrum world around her, she always reminded me of a haughty Spanish galleon in full and glorious sail.
One, two, three, another one home. Ludo's a smashing game, ain't it, Nelly?
Yes.
It's your turn, my dear.
Do you know, Hector, after the sudden death of my husband Edgar in that dreadful fish pond in 1952, I hurled myself into politics.
Lucky old politics, eh?
Yes. I never dreamed that through politics I would meet another solid slab of English manhood, with whom I could have so much in common.
I feel quite humbled, Nelly.
I like that in a man. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I feel, Hector, as though we're growing closer.
Yes.
But Hector, before enthusiasm gallops away with your sensibilities, I must point something out.
Point away, my dear.
Well, it concerns the male-female relationship.
Oh, yes.
You see, I have no zeal for the physical aspects of such an affinity. I have, in a manner, been Virgo intacta since my twins were born.
Admirable.
The holding of hands, a loving smile, a brushing even of fingertips, and on Saturday nights a controlled cuddle while listening to the light programme are quite sufficient for my womanly appetite. Do you catch my drift?
Do I? Do I? Mrs. Councillor Letts. Nelly, you are truly the woman of my dreams.
That's life. And as funny as it may seem, some people get that kiss, stomping on a dream.
One night when Doreen was down the bingo, Duckett and me were sitting in his kitchen drinking whiskey and getting slowly stacked. He'd been rambling on about love and marriage and Councillor Mrs. Letts, and as he got drunker, his chin dropped on his chest and he started dribbling. Suddenly, he fixed me with a very strange, fond look. He smiled lopsidedly. He reached out and he plonked one hand on my knee.
Something I want to discuss with you, dear lad. Something personal, private.
I went as tense as a Vestal Virgin.
Straight from the heart.
Our eyes locked. My bowels froze.
Men's talk. Just me and you.
His lips curled back in a smile. I realised he didn't have his choppers in. It wasn't a pretty sight. Oh, blimey, surely Duckett wasn't another cream cake. And as I stared at his gums, I began to wonder if it was me he loved and not Councillor Mrs. Letts at all. Or perhaps he was ambidextrous. I was coming out in a cold sweat, I tell you. I decided that if his fingers spidered up to my thigh, I was going to dive out the window and scarper up Fish Alley.
My son. Only by law I'll grant, but still, my son.
I decided to humour him. That's right, Dad.
You do understand. You've got responsibilities now, lad, don't you? Nice little wife, and soon 2 children.
Yes, Dad?
Good. Good. So now, son, you got to finally grow up.
Right.
Dad.
Right, Dad.
You see, I'll freely admit that I found it very difficult myself to cross that vast, confusing chasm between boyhood and manhood.
What the hell was he going on about?
You see, Sonny, we, all of us, would love to stay in the warmth and uncomplicated comfort of our mother's arms. All us boys.
Oh, he was at it again, squeezing me kneecap.
Boys are not trained to deal with women.
I wonder if Doreen knows about his predilections.
Especially how to cope with what's expected of him in marriage. Erections on demand, weekday couplings, that sort of thing.
He wants to have a word with Doreen.
But mothers ask nothing. Well, eat up your greens, wash behind your lug holes, but nothing carnal. I so loved my mother. I wish I'd have married her.
Ah, Hector Oedipus Duckett, eh?
No, we can't be Peter Pan, son. We're compelled to become men. We have to put away our Hornby trains, our lead soldiers, our Beano comics, and our pirates' outfits.
Pirates outfits, Mr. Dad?
Yes?
He stood up, and with a massive sigh, he opened up a cupboard.
You see, I found this Long John silver hat, rubber sword, and eye patch in the linen basket when I was tidying your room.
How could I tell him that Doreen had bought the gear down Woolies for added realism?
Oh, I was quite moved. It took me back. I used to love playing pirates myself. You know, I even tried the hat on and gave the sword a little wave. Pieces of 8, pieces of 8. But we can't play pirates, son. When we shoulder grown-up commitments, we have to play more dangerous games. So to remove temptation, to help you put away childish things, I'm going to burn this little lot in my beetroot boiler first thing in the morning.
Princess Doreen wasn't going to be very pleased. We were supposed to be sailing for Botany Bay that night. Like I said, Duckett was changeable.
You're going to have to get out, Doreen.
Out?
Yes, out.
Why, Daddy?
Because...
What about Marlon Sydney and little Cheyenne?
Well, you don't reckon I'm going to a doctor, do you? I'm taking a lodger.
We are your lodgers, Daddy.
This is a lady lodger. One who could have a great impact on my future as a human being.
You're going to shack up with Councillor Letts?
No, I bleeding am not. We're not even engaged.
So Daddy Duckett gave us the elbow and Councillor Mrs. Letts wrangled a London Overspill house for us, way out in the wilds of East Anglia, near Ipswich, a place I'd never even heard of.
Ain't it lovely, Tommy, our own bathroom and marigolds in the garden?
I think they're dandelions, Dor. The estate was half built and soulless. The gardens were thick with red mud and weeds. The sky above looked alien and sinister. Crows hopped and cackled everywhere. But I knuckled down. I bought a Ford Thames van and, working as a casual trader, I started selling antiques around the country markets. I was doing very well, thank you, and giving Doreen plenty of dough. But like she once said to old man Duckett...
No woman can live on housekeeping alone, Father. Tommy,
What?
did you know there's loads and loads of American bases round this way?
We could get atom bombed by the Ruskies.
Oh, silly. They've got searchlights and guards with big helmets. Priscilla told me.
Who's bleeding Priscilla?
My friend. She's divorced. Lives with her sister over Magpie Crescent. She's asked me if I would like to go to the Friends Across the Sea evening next Friday at Lakenheath Air Base. Her sister will look after the kids if you want to go anywhere.
Oh.
Oh, can I go, Tommy? Just this once. I never actually met an American.
It became every Friday. And then every Saturday too. And then Monday. Tuesday. Wednesday. Thursday.
I'm a married woman.
Sure you are, honey.
Oh, Hank, I'm not that sort of girl.
Sure you're not, honey. Sure.
Anyway, during one of my increasingly lonely nights, I was sitting in the front room in the dark having a fag and a drink, and it was nearly 2 a.m. And I've been thinking about things, and to be honest, about Lil again, wondering where she was and what had happened to her.
That's life. That's what all the people say. You're riding high, April, shot down in May. But I know I'm gonna change that soon.
Hello, Tommy.
Watcha?
You're right,
Fine.
Tommy.
What?
I'm ever so sorry.
Why?
I'm leaving you.
Yeah?
Nothing personal.
Oh, that's all right then.
I'm really sorry. I am.
Oh, thanks.
I've met this American, you see. A lieutenant from Oklahoma, like in the musical. Oh, he's ever so handsome. But it's not like that. He's kind, ever so, and he reckons I look like Kim Novak, and he wants to marry me.
Oh, congratulations.
Oh, you're such an understanding husband, Tommy. I do love him, and he loves me.
Whatever happened to One-Eyed Dick the Pirate?
Oh, Tommy. Oh, you take things so well, you really do. Love's such a funny thing. We did have a good marriage, didn't we?
Yeah, 9 months of unbridled happiness.
Oh, what a lovely, lovely thing to say. Oh.
Yeah. Here, mind me drink.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, what about the kids?
Where I go, they go. He knows that. You're right, I'll take care of them.
And I knew she would. Tell you what, Dor, there's no point in arguing. You keep the house and I'll move on. It'll be best for all of us. I'll pay the rent, send you dough every week. Fair enough. Until the divorce is sorted out. Okay.
That's life. And as funny as it may seem, some people get that kiss stomping on a dream.
I didn't see Doreen or the kids for a long, long time after that night. But that's just the way life goes. I wasn't feeling good about it. I did care about Doreen. I didn't love her, but I cared. And I did love the kids. And that's why I walked away. It's better than fighting and using them as pawns, pulling them apart. She was their mother. She was a good mother too, all in all. And whatever went on in her confused psyche, nothing could change that blood link. I got a room in Ipswich. I started drinking a lot more than was good for me. Feeling sorry for myself, I suppose. But I kept thinking of Lil, of the cheery letters she used to send me when I was in Korea, of those long ago secret afternoons I used to spend with her, and of the poetry that she loved.
Come to me in the silence of the night. Come in the speaking silence of a dream.
Why did I keep thinking of her, eh? Wondering about her. Where she was. Who she was with. Why did I care?
But I don't let them get me down, 'cause this final word, it keeps me spinning around.
One cold night in early November, I was drinking rum in this pub out in the sticks, minding my own business. In those days, Londoners were treated as aliens in a lot of outlying country areas. Immigrants, seducers of local women, creators of unemployment. The usual crap, you know. So I wasn't surprised when a fat slobber with an American haircut and motorbike leathers came sidling over to me like John Wayne, leaned on the bar and eyeballed me.
You've been looking at my woman all night, flyboy.
Couple of his mates, who seemed to be sharing a brain cell, moved behind him, dead-eyed, hard-faced, and behind them was a smirking yellow blonde tart in a crack-eyed pink plastic miniskirt. I winced. "I ain't as hard up as you, mate." He swung at me with a pint pot in his fist. I ducked, and I kicked him hard in the delicates. He was as tough as a cart horse, though. He grunted, doubled up, and then charged at me with his head down. Ah! I went backwards out in the cold air of the night. There were boots and fists thudding into my body as I hit the ground. Something crashed into my head and everything went black. When I came to, I realised I was hunched up in the back of my own van. I was throbbing with pain, but I crawled out. Those Suffolk boys had given me a right lamping and dumped me van in a ditch down a narrow lane. It was early light. I followed the lane to the crossroads and the sign said A134 Bury St Edmunds 4 miles. Well, I knew there was a railway station in Bury St Edmunds. I could get to Ipswich from there, then sort out the recovery of me van afterwards. I hobbled along the verge. I thumbed a few motors, but none stopped. I managed about a mile when a Morris Minor came buzzing along. I stuck my hands out in a pleading gesture and the Morris just passed me by. But then it slowed down and stopped. There were two women in the front. One was grey-haired with glasses, about 60, and the other woman, the driver, was much younger. They were both looking over their shoulders, watching me as I struggled to reach them. The driver held on to the steering wheel, just staring. Lady Fate's a funny old thing. Nothing sways her intentions. I mean, if Ego hadn't got killed, I wouldn't have got shacked up with Doreen Duckett. Mrs. Duckett, according to Duckett, would never have run off with the gas bulb man. Duckett would never have fallen for Councillor Mrs. Letts. Doreen wouldn't have met the American Air Force, and I wouldn't have got my head kicked in. And Lil, driving home from night duty as an auxiliary nurse in Sudbury, wouldn't have found me stumbling along in the wayside. She had this little flat in a quiet street in Bury St Edmunds. She was even lovelier than I remembered. Her hair was long and dark brown without a touch of bleach, and her gorgeous eyes would have melted the heart of Caligula. I told her how I came to be in Suffolk and about Doreen. In fact, I told her everything. "So what made you leave Fulham so suddenly, Lil?"
Wasn't that sudden, Tommy? It was a gradual decision. I love Fulham, always will. But it was changing so much. And that modern lark was getting scary.
Yeah, you've lost a lot of weight, girl.
Got to the point where I didn't have much energy. I thought it best.
You had plenty of energy when I used to come round and see you.
Yeah.
Had some right good laughs, eh?
Oh, a long time ago, Tommy. Don't you like me, Slimmer?
I like you, whatever. Got a bloke, have you, Lil?
I'm not interested.
Not even in me? Why did you stop writing, Lil? What? Just why?
You wouldn't understand, Tommy.
Try me.
What's the use?
Oh, go on.
I wanted to be with you and I couldn't.
Talk bloody sense. It was you said it had to end.
It did.
Why?
Because I wanted you more than I thought.
Wasn't I giving it to you right then?
Giving it. I was beginning to get feelings for you, Tommy. Feelings. I was falling in love with you.
Love?
Yeah. An impossible love.
But I loved you and all.
You never loved me, Tommy. You were just a kid. I was wrong.
I still love you.
Tommy.
Marry me, Lil.
Nothing's changed.
Go on, marry me.
You asked me that years ago. Remember?
Yeah, but this is different now.
It couldn't work. People, your mum and dad.
I'm not asking them to marry me.
There's 15 years between us. It's too much.
I don't want a birth certificate. I want a marriage certificate.
You're already married.
Soon as I'm divorced, if you don't want me, Lil, just say so.
I do. That's always been the problem.
Then we are going to be together. I won't let you go, darling, not this time.
Oh, Tommy.
Oh. It was as though we'd never met, and yet it was as though we'd never parted. Anyway, Lil swapped her 2 weeks annual holiday to coincide with the Christmas period, and I hired a yellow and chrome American Oldsmobile, and we set out on this grand tour of Suffolk. There was a new and tender loveliness in our relationship. I think I really was in love.
Beautiful countryside round here.
Beautiful company and all. Here, next town we get to, I'm going to buy you a gold band. Then we can book in wherever we go as man and wife.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith. They'll never believe us.
We had a wonderful holiday. We went through villages and towns whose ancient names seemed to carry a Suffolk burr. Beccles, Bungay, Heveringham, Peasenhall, Yoxford, Severton, Snape. We started following the coastline and we stayed in small hotels and pink-washed Suffolk pubs. We were so happy together we should never have been apart from the first day we met. A few days after Christmas we stopped at Aldeburgh. That night we strolled along the beach. We could have been the only two people in the world. Look at them stars.
Billions.
I used to gaze up at them in Korea and wonder if you were looking too.
Tommy.
If I could, I would have hauled them down one by one and built you a palace right on this shore.
Wouldn't half be bright. People will be able to see everything we got up to.
We could always pull the curtains. Let's buy a flat and go back and live in Fulham then.
What about people?
Oh, bugger people.
My job.
We're together and I can earn more than enough for both of us. So, we moved back to Fulham early in the new year of 1959. We got a flat in Crabtree Lane and we used to go down to Craven Cottage regularly to give Fulham FC our fervent support.
Well, that Johnny Haynes is wonderful, isn't he? Just wonderful.
I prefer Jimmy Hill myself.
Jealous.
Well, summer turned into autumn. Had any man and woman ever been so happy together? So much in love? We used to go to the pictures or see a West End show 2 or 3 times a week. And one Saturday evening, we were getting ready to go up to the Forum. We were going to see Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon in Some Like It Hot. We've been looking forward to it. I was ready to go, watching TV, and Lil was in the bedroom putting on her glad rags. Come on, love, we've only got 20 minutes. Lil? I got up and I walked to the bedroom. She was seated, slumped in front of her dressing table mirror, her face side on to the top, her arms hanging down. A hairbrush lay on the carpet beside her. I felt a great and terrible grief welling up inside me. It was a heart attack just waiting to happen. That's what they said, you know, the way doctors do. It was as though the most beautiful piece of music in creation had just stopped playing, and the silence really touched my soul. She was buried in Brompton Cemetery. It was one of those late English autumn afternoons. The bright sun threw many shadows. There weren't a lot of mourners, and as the car pulled out of the cemetery gates, I stared out into that busy world. I almost felt hatred for all those people out there. She was dead. And they were living, using up all the hours, laughing, loving. Still, they say all love ends in sorrow. That's the cruelty of it. I never again loved a woman the way I loved Lil. She taught me about sex and friendship and loyalty and love. She also taught me to appreciate poetry, just the way Cream Cake had taught her. How can death claim Burns and Herrick and Houseman and Owen and Sassoon? The songs they write will never die, can never die, not in the hearts of ordinary people, real people.
When I'm dead, my dearest, sing those sad songs for me.
Well, Doreen and me got divorced eventually. The last I heard, she was living near Aberystwyth, married to some Welsh hill farmer. She'd had 5 kids by him and was by all accounts very happy. Marlon Sidney wound up with a first at Oxford in English and European medieval history, or something along those lines. He's currently a professor at Yale University. Is that Sid Beasley's sharp and cunning brain coming out, or dumbing down? Cheyenne now goes by the name of Chaz, and who can blame him? Mind, he turned out a right bad un. The last I heard, he was doing 7 years for armed robbery. My jeans or Duckett's? Well, Duckett married Councillor Mrs. Letts and moved to Cheltenham, but they were killed soon after in a coach crash on the way to a Tory conference. Lady Fate, eh?
Plant thou no roses at my head, nor shady cypress tree.
I've wandered around the world since those long ago Fulham days. A lot has happened. I married twice again. I had 3 more children. Yet I always remember her, my Lil.
Be the green grass above me, with showers and dewdrops wet. And if thou wilt, remember. And if thou wilt, forget.
I'll never forget. Not Lil. Not never.
It's life, and as funny as it may seem, some people get their kicks stomping on a dream, but I don't let them get me down, 'cause this final word, it keeps me spinning